Hey kids! Alright, so I'm here with Brian Barczyk from SnakeBytesTV. You might have heard of him. And we're going to do a Q&A. I asked you guys some questions via Snapchat and also on Facebook. We're going to answer them. It's going to be so exciting. Who's in your bed?
That's nobody. That's
Alright.
That's actually my son Noah. Say hi, Noah.
Okay, I like this one. Is there any animal besides bugs for you, because you don't like bugs?
It's not that I don't like bugs. I just am slightly afraid of them. I
Right.
can appreciate them, so I don't want people to think I don't like them because I think they're cool.
Okay. That either of you wouldn't work with. So is there any animal that you wouldn't work with?
Well, you know, I think it's a fine line between what I wouldn't work with and what I don't feel should be kept in captivity without being a hypocrite on this. I mean, I'm not a real fan of primates in captivity.
No.
And I'm obviously not a fan of porpoises in captivity. That being said, I mean, there's that very fine line between when do you cut off the intelligence, you know, of like, that they should be kept in captivity. Because there's some really highly, I mean, look at Gambian pouch rats are amazingly intelligent, yet, you know, I don't have as much of a problem keeping them in a cage as I do, say, a monkey or a primate. So I would still love to work with primates. I would still love to work with porpoises. I'd still love to work with all the animals, but I'm not really a fan of some of them being kept in captivity because I think they
It also depends on what they mean by work with. I think probably for you it's breeding and keeping.
Right.
But I'm thinking like, because that's how I feel about birds, man. I hate some birds, like the larger parrots that can be, you know, given a whole room, that have been born in captivity and can get a lot of intellectual stimulation. I'm kind of okay with that more than I am with like finches or birds that migrate. If you put a bird that migrates in a cage that's this big, I get a really bad feeling about that. Yeah. You know, when you see finches plucking their feathers out because they're stressed because they're in a cage this big. If you have an aviary, like if you can make your backyard into like this crazy cool aviary that you can keep birds of flight in, I love that. But in general, I'm not a huge fan of keeping flying animals in a cage.
But I think going back to the point, there isn't really any animal that I can think of that I would be like, no, I don't want to work with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really fascinated with even animals that scare me, or you know, I shouldn't say scare, nothing scares me, but...
Holy crap. Yeah, I'm fine. All right, it's Turner. It's doing something. It's doing something. No, take this back, please.
But there's absolutely zero animals that I could think of that I'm like, no, I do not want to work with that.
If you... I don't like this one. Sorry. What? For Brian, when and what started your obsession with shoes?
You know, it's really...
Do you have an obsession with shoes?
I kind of do have an obsession with shoes, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And really, it's this guy back here. This guy. My son Noah really got me started. I mean, honest to God, I really couldn't have cared less about shoes, you know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. I would wear whatever shoes are around, and then Noah kind of got into the sneaker game and started getting some pretty cool sneakers, and I started, it just kind of caught the bug, you know. It was something that me and him could talk about to begin with, and then start to share each other's interests in it. So yeah, now I'm hooked. Now I'm into sneakers big time. And as a matter of fact, here's some ultra white triple. Now these are triple white ultra boosts. There we go.
I don't wear shoes. That one was directed at you. For me, is there any insect, bug, or reptile that you're scared of or just creeps you out the way that you feel about spiders? I've mentioned this before. I am horrified by chambered nautilus. It's the most bizarre thing in the world. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true.
Their eyes are weird. Like they look like they're not alive. And they have too many tentacles, and their tentacles are weird because they like go in and out.
Yeah.
They're really freaky. I appreciate them, and I love them in the sense that they're important to the ecosystem, but I don't want to hang out with one for sure. How did we meet each other, and what brought us to work together?
Yeah, I mean, really, I had made a post on Facebook, just you know, getting going with Animal Bites. And it's really evolved a lot. You know, Animal Bites just went one way and the other way. And we talked about this earlier today, how I really had this vision for Animal Bites to be the future Animal Planet of the internet, because I really felt that, you know, everyone was complaining that, you know, the networks were going in a different direction. So we thought, well, hey, what if we give like kind of old school animal channels to the internet, you know? And we tried it. We did several different shows. We had probably about 8 or 10 different shows, and And quite frankly, it just didn't work the way I envisioned it to work. Not that it was a failure, but it just wasn't as much of a success. So anyways, I decided I wanted to go to some more internet-friendly shows, and I wanted to do an animal fact show. So I made a post saying, hey, I'm looking for a host. Jason reached out to me. He sent me an audition tape, and I thought it was fantastic, and that was the rest is history.
And I look at that audition tape now, and I'm like, why the frick did you hire me, man? It was garbage.
Well, I really saw the potential, really. I mean,
Okay.
it's just the
Fair.
ease of it. Yeah, the actual show itself wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. It really wasn't. But I mean, I knew it needed a little bit massaging. But I saw like what your potential was, and it's went well.
Yeah, definitely has. And that was over a year ago. And the first time we actually met in person, though, which is hilarious, was in the airport at D.C. on our way to Africa.
Exactly, yeah. Which is strange.
Yeah, that's really weird. I want to see a Jason Bryan face swap. Let's look at the camera real quick. There you go. And I'll do that in editing. Or how funny would it be if I didn't and we just did that?
I think that would be better.
Nate Saylor says, I wanted to name him out because this is my favorite question. Where do babies come from?
Well, when you get to know someone and you feel like you love them, you know, and then you have snuggles together, then, you know, later on a stork comes, and that's how babies are made.
I like the word snuggles.
Yeah.
When snuggles happen.
Yeah, when snuggles happen.
Oh, God. Would Jason ever get a captive raised pangolin?
Oh, gosh. Not as a pet.
Not as a pet, man.
Not
I mean,
as a pet.
anybody
if it
who
was a
owns
conservation.
exactly anybody who owns a pangolin or any seriously endangered species, I think has the obligation to breed it for conservation.
Yeah, to
reasons,
be I think if you were involved in an SSP program, you know, that's a whole different thing. To work with, clouded leopards or snow leopards or pangolins or whatever the case may be, in SSP, then it's completely reasonable and completely responsible.
Right.
But to have one just as like a slow loris or a pangolin, just as a pet, that's irresponsible.
Like
completely irresponsible.
I've said this before in another video, but I think there should be a purpose behind every animal that you own.
Sure.
It shouldn't just be another number, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, unless you're a breeder. But,
well, right, but then you still have a purpose.
Right, they still have a purpose, and you're still looking at each individual. But like for a private keeper, just to, I see this so much. People just like buying stuff to have it, and then later they get bored with it and give it away. It doesn't sit right with me. But on that same principle, owning an animal because it's rare or exotic, especially if it's endangered, I think is very. Oh shoot. I was doing so good and I lost the last word. Irresponsible. That's the one. Someone asks, can my rose-toed tarantula high-five you? My answer to that is no, because there's no such thing as a rose-toed tarantula.
That's a good point. That's a valid point.
You either have a pink-toed tarantula or a rose-hair tarantula.
So
do your research before you get a pet.
So can it high-five you? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There we go.
They don't have fingers, though.
No.
They have little hooks. They have
Yes.
2 little hooks. If you look under a microscope, it's really cool. What is your most desired reptile you want in your animal room, and what do you both see for the future of Animal Bites, like the future years? And he also said, love your vlog channels and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you for all those nice things.
Oh gosh, I think I probably it's too hard for me to answer a question like what I'd want in my reptile, because there's so many animals I want to work with. But at the same time, I am paring down a lot of the stuff that I work with to try to be a little bit more controlled on what I'm working with. I don't, not that I have any problem with producing numbers for the pet trade, and I did it for a long time, so if I had a problem, I'd be a complete hypocrite. Just for me, my personal choice is to get smaller and be able to care for the animals a little bit more individually than a mass production house like we were for a while. But that being said, that as I get smaller, there's certain species of animals that I just couldn't work with because I had so many animals that I would like to get into. And those are things like, Bismarck ring pythons I used to work with. I'd like to work with them again. Emerald tree boas. I'd like to get back into green tree pythons. I mean, the list just goes on and on. I really even would one day, and I don't know if this will happen or not, but I'd like to dabble with some venomous stuff with me personally. The reason I don't keep venomous now is because I have employees, and I don't want employees to get bit. If I didn't have employees, or I had a section that was like off limit to everybody, only to me, I would really keep some venomous snakes because I really have an affinity towards venomous snakes. As for the future of Animal Bites,
Can I answer the reptile one first?
Yes, you do that, yeah.
All right. Short answer, I have fallen in love with olive house snakes since I acquired Louis from my friend. They're freaking the most beautiful and sweet snakes in the world. It's zero fear of people whatsoever. They just seem to actually enjoy being handled. It's not like they just tolerate it. They seem to enjoy interacting with you. So one day I really hope to find a female that I can breed to my male.
Well, you know, Warren and Nicole Klein, are from Bushveld Reptiles over in Africa, who we visited, they're going to be, I think, September or October. So this month or next month, they're going to be in Texas, and they're bringing all their snakes over. So they have an amazing collection of house snakes. So you'll be able to get all those cool house snakes from them.
Oh boy, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, very, very cool house snake collection.
Hell yeah.
So back to Animal Bites. Yeah, I really think that the future is probably going to be a little bit more simple than it used to be, in the sense that I was looking for all this diversity of shows and creators and producers, and now it's probably going to be much more simple. Probably just me and Jason until something happens to change that. And if there are any future shows, I've had a few ideas for shows that I'd like to add to the lineup. But it would probably be hosted by myself or Jason, or a combination there of the two of us. Because I think what was happening, quite frankly, was people were getting confused. Okay, so what would happen is let's say one of Jason's videos would become very successful, and people would subscribe to the channel because of that successful video, and then all of a sudden they see me, and they see other people, and they see other people, and what the hell's going on here? I subscribed to that one, or whatever the creator was, whether it was Snake Bites or whatever the case may be. It was confusing people, and so I think that's by streamlining it makes it a little bit better. As much as I'm disappointed, because I really did want a bunch of variety and a bunch of different producers, I think that's the direction that we have to go. And then as for the vlogs, saying thank you, we really do appreciate that. To me personally, I think the vlogs are as much a part of my future as Animal Bites. I mean, I think that the vlog channel, I really have a passion to kind of open myself up and let you guys into who I really am, not just the presenter for Snake Bites, but also just the real person, the day-to-day person. And so for me, I think that the future of Animal Bites will continue on the way it's going, adding a little bit here and there, but really the vlogs are where I feel the biggest growth is, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I agree entirely with everything that you just said, but added on to that too, like I wanted to do SnakeBytesTV for a while, and I still do. I just know that it's going to be so tough to promote and get out there, because it would be such a niche audience that I can't see it succeeding very well. So I'm probably going to integrate ideas that I had for SnakeBytesTV into my vlog channel. So like do an episode of my vlog channel where I just show off my cockroaches, show off my stick insects, show off my mantids, and do like how to care for each of them and everything like that. And that way I'll be able to inject a little more of my animal side into these vlogs that I've been making. And also I really want to do an animal news show at some point, whether it's on Animal Bites or something. I don't know, we'll figure that out. But I like the idea of like a Jon Stewart for animals,
Right.
I was talking to Sean Klitzner about that earlier today on how to get that started. But yeah, so that's that. But we're Five-Word Animal Facts and SnakeBytesTV. We're not going anywhere for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, no,
we're going to be doing that for a while.
Yeah, I don't see a change certainly anytime with what we're producing. I don't know what the total future is, but for right now things are going pretty well. I mean, we're continuing to grow, and we appreciate everyone's support. But we'll always adapt to the future. We're gonna, we do. I always tell people that we do our best to listen to you guys without listening to every single thing that you guys say, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because what happens is the vocal minority is typically just that, the vocal minority. So if 99 people are happy with our content the way it is now, but one person is screaming at the top of lungs, I try to mute that one person. And I really want to listen to the 99%.
Even if we don't respond to every comment on all of our shows, everything that we create, we see every single comment, for the first week or two that it's up. We respond usually, can I undo the veil? I'm not how we do that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Within the first 24 hours, we respond to almost every single comment, and then after that, it's kind of like,
it's a little harder for me now because I do the daily vlogs and Snake Bites.
You do so much, dude.
But I do really try to respond to everyone, at least certainly for the first 24 hours, but sometimes even for the first 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
With the vlog, it's a little bit difficult because once I'm on Wednesday, it's hard for me to pay attention to Monday as much, you know, because I've got, you know, Wednesday I've got Snake Bites the vlog, and Tuesday, so I'm already babysitting 3 videos.
And you also run like 12 companies.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I've got a lot of other things going on, but yeah, I mean, I really do. I can tell you this much: if you comment to one of my videos, I am going to either respond to it or at least read it the first 48 to 72 hours, and then after that, I do my best. So for people that don't understand, there's actually a community tab on my page, so I can actually see like a comment from a video that was posted 9 months ago come on my community tab, you know.
Really?
So I really do keep up with comments even from older videos, but it's a little bit more difficult now because there's so much content with the vlog. But yeah, no, your guys' response and feedback means everything to me. I mean, it's, you know, it does mold what I try to do in the future, you know, within reason, obviously, you know.
Yeah. When you, this is interesting because I didn't know this about you until like months ago. When you enrolled for your degree, did you plan on making videos? If not, what was your ideal profession?
Yeah, no, I'm a biology nut. You know, I went to school for microbiology, and I really wanted to be in a lab. I mean, that was my my dream. You know, is to sit there and, you know, work on
I can't picture it at all.
Crazy stuff like that. I mean, you know, the thing is, I look at biologists and scientists, and they're my Super Bowl people. You know, they're my NFL.
Absolutely.
They're the people that I look at and go, oh my. And, you know, don't get me wrong. Certainly, wildlife conservationists are also in that group.
Yeah.
But when I look at someone in a lab coat, you know, nice lab coat, and they're in, you know, under a microscope, to me, that is the people I'm like, man, that's my Michael Jordan. I know that seems really weird, but that's what I really wanted to do. But I wanted to work with animals more, you know, and so obviously, you know, although I went down that path for microbiology, you know, certainly wildlife was where my passion is, my heart is, and that's what I wanted to spend my life doing. So, you know, I've never used a minute of my schooling, and I'm not. I don't disappoint.
You know, the stuff you learned about genetics.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's certainly, you know, the day-to-day stuff, but probably 99% of what I, you know, learned in school I don't use, unfortunately. But it's okay. I don't regret it whatsoever, and I still have an unbelievable admiration for scientists, and I, you know, trust me, I'm constantly reading, you know, papers that have nothing to do about animals, that have to do about, you know, cancer research or this or that, you know, and really geeky stuff. I'm really into that, but you know, yeah, that was what my ideal. And never in a million years did I ever think I'd want to be on video, ever. I mean, literally, prior to 10 years ago, I hated being on camera. I hated talking to people. I hated to be in front of people. I had no interest in being in the public eye whatsoever.
I've seen one photo or 2 photos of you from before you started on Snake Bites. One was your wedding photo, and one was you with your band.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
I wish you let me upload that picture of you with your band.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, no, I you know, that's why sometimes it's funny when people think that what I do is like ego driven, because you know, although I've become very comfortable and actually, quite frankly, enjoy the you know, in front of the camera and interacting and stuff like that, it's really a fish out of water. I mean, people may not realize how out of my element I am. I mean, I am a guy that really would, you know, and you would never know this from everything that I do, but I am literally the guy that would rather be left alone, do his thing, you know, play with my animals, be the mad scientist in the lab that no one even knows that I exist. And you would never think that from the actions that I do, but it's just that I really believe in a lot of the things I do, the messages that I'm trying to do. You know, I want to inspire people. I want to pique people's curiosity. I want to deliver a positive message to people, because life isn't always easy. You know, and you know, you know, trust me, I probably have had more adversity than anyone's ever had in their entire life.
And that comes with success.
Yeah, and you know, I try to inspire people to get past their adversity, because I tell people all the time that, you know, my adversity may be something really enormous at times, but the normal person every day is facing adversity. You wake up in the morning and your coffee pot doesn't work, or your car doesn't start, or your kid's sick. These are little things that are huge to you in the moment. And maybe you aren't dealing with a catastrophic thing like some of the stuff that we deal with from time to time, but the fact is we all deal with it, and we have to be inspired to get through it. And so that is as much as a part of my message is wildlife and conservation and the other things. So that's why I continue to be out of my element, because I believe in those messages.
Right. Awesome, man. I just graduated college last year, and my degree was in communications. I tell people it's communications. The real answer is much more complicated. I was in a 3-year program called College Unbound, which basically was, it was designed for people who know what they wanted to do and are just like, can create your own curriculum based on your career path. So I've honestly, as long as I can remember, I've known that I wanted to be in front of a camera, educating people about wildlife, studying wildlife, learning as much as I can about animals, and then regurgitating that information and making it entertaining. That's the only life that I've ever known. And like, there's videos of me that I might even put up someday of me at like 5 years old sitting on the floor of my animal room with my African clawed frogs talking about them, and it's great. But it's always what I've wanted to do. But I did want to get a degree as a backup plan. So I have a Bachelor of Arts degree, and this 3-year program, it was summer classes as well. I just wanted to get in and get out. I never did anything with my school other than go to class. Like, I went to class, I went home, and that was it. I was just there for the degree. And I actually didn't even go to my graduation. I slept in. But they sent it to me in the mail. But yeah, and I don't know if I'm ever going to use my diploma, but it's a good thing to back up on in case YouTube decides to shut down tomorrow.
And you never know. I mean, there's always that possibility. I mean, we can't put all our eggs in one basket. That's for sure.
No, that goes with anything. If you could have dinner with any person in the whole world, past or present, who would it be?
Oh gosh, there's so many questions.
Right?
There's so many things. I mean, it's like, I mean, you could go like, if it's past. I mean, certainly, I think dinner with Jim Morrison from The Doors would be pretty epic. And then there's like the personal side. Like, everyone wants to hang out with Morgan Freeman. I mean, there's that type of stuff. But I think that certainly, for me, there's only one question that would really, or one answer that would really be it, and that would be Steve Irwin. I mean, he's the one wildlife guy that I didn't meet and I didn't get to know. Almost every other wildlife guy on TV, I should say, personality, I've either gotten to know or met either before Steve died or after Steve died, and I unfortunately didn't meet Steve. Obviously, I've gotten to know Bob, his dad, well. As a matter of fact, Bob has an autobiography coming out next month that's called The Last Crocodile Hunter.
Really?
And it's the memoirs of Steve and his dad. And there's a bunch of personal letters from Steve to his dad in the book. So it's a pretty amazing book. And
that's amazing.
So
I'm so excited for that.
So yes, I mean, there's a ton of people that I would love. I mean, from Einstein to Steve Hawkins. I'd love to go out to dinner with him. Carl Sagan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But obviously, the number one guy would have to be Steve Irwin.
I would say Steve Irwin as well, but also really, man, David Attenborough.
Yeah.
David Attenborough is just the most incredibly eloquent speaker, and just hearing him talk about anything for an extended period of time would just be fantastic. But like, talking to him about conservation, the future of our planet, would be amazing. Also, what's his name? Oh God, okay. Also, Edward O. Wilson would be fantastic. Edward O. Wilson is one of the greatest naturalists to ever live.
Yeah.
And I could just talk to him about his research with ants for a whole day. I mean, it's incredible everything that he's done. If you're interested at all in biology conservation, read a book called Letters to a Young Scientist by Edward O. Wilson. I read it my freshman year of college, and it really changed my mindset on conservation, on biology, and everything like that. It's just, he's an incredibly inspirational human being, and he's getting really up there too. Him and Attenborough are both really getting.
Yeah, it's going to be a bummer when we start losing some of the legends.
I know. I know. I think about it.
We got to replace them with new legends.
Like Noah.
Like Noah, for instance.
That's what?
What do you have to say?
About what?
What do you have to say?
If you could go to dinner with anyone in the entire world, past or present, who would it be?
Bill Gates.
That's cool.
That's a good question. That's a good, or a good answer.
Oh, Elon Musk would be fucking great.
Elon Musk would be
Oh,
good.
I love Elon. That's like a weird thing that I really am into is Elon Musk as a human being. He's phenomenal. Not in that way.
Oh, I was going to say. He wants to
I'm
take
into
him.
Elon Musk.
He wants to take him in his mouth.
What the fuck? This was a good PG vlog until you said that. That's awesome.
Okay. All
right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Subscribe to Brian's vlogs. I'll leave an annotation right over his face. And then also Animal Bites TV. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you'll watch that as well. But if you don't, watch Animal Bites TV as well. 5 Weird Animal Facts on Monday. Snake Bites TV every Wednesday. And yeah. Bye, guys. That was great.